Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Y'all see me? Let me know. Let me take this banner off of my face. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Let's do a little check in. Oh, I got 20 people now. All right. Everybody, please hit the like button. Let me share with everybody. We are live. We are live. We are live. Welcome, everybody. Y'all, I'll check the chat in a minute. How's everybody doing? How are you guys doing? It's the first. It is the first. So, like, are we almost done with the year yet? Because it seems like it's going by quickly. There have been so many events happening this year that maybe it's because you report the news and you talk about the news, and then so you like get caught up on all these events and stuff like that. But welcome everybody, everyone. We are live. I didn't feel like doing a thumbnail. Sue me. I just wasn't feeling a thumbnail right now. I'm like, I'll do that later. I just wanted to talk to the people. Welcome everybody. Let's do a little check-in. I was gonna do a SPTV video just to do a little check-in with everybody and see how everybody was doing. But I don't know. I'm still processing a lot of things. Is anybody from SPT? Shout out to all my SPTV people. I know half of you guys are there. So I'm like, is it just me? Are we just processing things? Like I'm processing some things and I might have to talk about it. And we're gonna have to digest some of it, but I'm just processing. And it's taking me a minute. It's taking me a minute. It's taking me a minute. Welcome, everybody. All right, let me shout out some people. Renee, Suzanne, thank you for being here. Pika, SPTV Keyboard Warrior, welcome. I haven't seen you in a minute. Hope you're doing well. Jody, who? Everybody, Erica, everybody, thank you. Who is watching me? Lord, why? Why? I'm just review. I'm not even talking about that character. Not that I have anything against. I don't know him, but I know that there's some information coming out about him, and people like to control their narratives and stuff like that. I don't know. Bo, welcome. Sabrina, welcome. Cubana Chica, welcome. You said the days. You ain't never lie. Hey, just do it. Welcome. Black Owl, welcome. Kenko, hello, hello, welcome. ¿Cómo estás, everybody? Welcome, welcome. Rose Gold, welcome. Shout out to Maria from Greece. Ooh, it's Friday? Oh, yeah, because y'all are like a day ahead, right? Tammy, welcome. Yes. Oh, okay, great. Welcome to Lovey Cats. Christy P, how you doing, love? Layla's in the house. Welcome. I'm made alive. Nebby's in the house. Jody, who's in the house? Thank you. Thank you. But Nebby's in the house. Welcome. Baby girl's in the house. Jay, you say, yeah, he's probably watching. I don't think so. Okay, rabbit with the bling bling bling. I know I'm starting, I need to start wearing. I have a lot of bling. And I was like, I was cleaning out my closet. So I clean out my closet, I start finding stuff. So I'm like, I used to have a lot of I still do. A lot of the Alex Anani bracelets, and I used to love stacking them because that was like my ADHD thing. But they're like, I'm not used to it anymore. I used to wear stuff like this all the time. So I'm starting to get like back to it. Like I need to do it. You said Aaron mentioned he was asked about a Lifetime movie being made about him and Rekieta. Really? Not Lifetime. Mm-mm-mm. Mm. I didn't feel like washing a straw. So I'm gonna drink my coffee straight out of the cup. I don't feel like I wash a shitload of dishes and I'm like, I don't feel like washing a straw. Like I'm done. I don't want to wash any dishes. I'm good. Hey, Jeanette Brown, welcome. Liberty's in the house. Margot, how you doing, love? You're nosy down a burrito sounds really good right now. Let's see. I have Pandora, but I never wear it. It's so heavy. I thought about Pandora. I like Pandora's charms too, but I like the stacking instead of, how like in Pandora you collect all those charms. That's a lot of charms to collect. I like stacking. But I heard. You said I've been ill. I've been ill and I'm not up to speed with what's going on with SPTV. What's the deal? I mean, it's just a lot of stuff. And welcome. Shout out to you. I hope you're doing well. Emily, welcome. It's a lot. I mean, anybody following y'all, shout out to everybody from SPTV. You gotta get this different stuff going on. I saw that Aaron reported on some of the stuff on the lawsuit with Scientology. So that's the other thing too. That there was a bit of a loss there, but they're going to keep pushing as far as that goes. I'm pretty sure they'll figure out a way. And then there's stuff going on in the community as well, that I'm a little like, hmm, you know, shout out to Marilyn. Shout out to Marilyn. I love the fact that she put some stuff up on Front Street. And just the fact that, like, yeah, shout out to Marilyn. That's what I'm gonna say about that. You've been wondering about what happening with Rekieta Law. There's a lot of stuff happening with Rekieta. You're hungry, but you don't want to cook anything. Nick did an interview with Chrissy. I heard about that, but she just threw softballs. Why? And I'm not familiar with that creator, but I heard about an interview that they did together. Why the softball? Like, what's the deal? What's the deal? So much for getting this episode of Sins of Scientology done. Now that Rabbit's in, Lord have mercy. I know, right? Yeah, shout out to Baby Girl said. I mean, it's a lot of stuff going on, y'all. Like, I'm gonna have to do a separate video on that, but I've been sitting on that and just kind of like processing different things that's been happening in the community. And I just want to, like, I don't know. The trolling has gotten really out of hand. I mean, I'm used to getting trolled, but for certain individuals, the trolling has gotten out of hand. And part of it, I think it's like, wow. Yeah, I noticed that. When I don't like cooking, I like eating banquets, frozen pot pies. Are those good? You woke up? Ooh, that sounds good. That frozen, like, yogurt and fruit, or frozen yogurt. Ooh, that sounds really good. But yes, you said step back. You know what? Let me tell you something. You know what? People always tell on themselves on this app, okay? Let me just say that. People always tell on themselves when they be doing some sneaky shit behind the scenes. People will tell on themselves all the time. Sometimes you just have to sit there and observe. And I have been sitting there and observing and taking notes. Just taking notes. That's what I do. Yeah, the censorship has gotten out of hand. That is true. You said I don't have an easily distracted SPTV shirt for nothing. I swear to God, it's always one thing after another. I still want to try that candy you had on my you know what I want to try? I've never tried it. I'll probably put it on my list. And I keep, like, looking at TikTok. You know how they have those? We're doing a check-in before we start the content, all right? So don't be mad at me for those that are like, damn, this girl talks a lot, whatever. Those pickle kits? I've always seen these people have these, like, amazing pickle kits. They gut the pickle out, they stuff in the chips, they roll it up in a fruit roll up, they put some chamoy, they got, the little Lucas sauce, and I'm just like, how? Who thought of this? And why wasn't this in my childhood? Because I love pickles, and I love chamoy, and I love anything tahine and stuff like that's the summer thing. So it's amazing to me. Like, I didn't know. And they sell these things in, like, pickle kits. I'm like, well, wouldn't it be easier just to go to Walmart or your grocery store and buy a bunch of pickles, get all the ingredients together, and then make it yourself? I might just do that. I got a little bit of a craving. It is what it is. Crazy mess, never thought to get to the point. You said crazy mess, never thought to get to the point, to this point, as I follow Aaron, and before there was an SPTV AA run. I know, it's always crazy. Shout out to, I mean, I don't know. Shout out to all the SPTV creators. I don't know how they do it, dude. I mean, like I said, I think that it takes a lot not to respond to certain things. I think that I am learning that too. I don't always respond to everything. Like, I've had to learn that the hard way. You don't always, like, it's none of my business what y'all are opinions are about me or whatever. It really isn't. But sometimes I do feel like I feel some type of way about some stuff. And I feel conflicted sometimes about some stuff. And I'm like, well, maybe I'll talk about it in a different stream so we can all just kind of let it out. You said a mental health break from SPTV. It was consumed. Yeah, that's always good. Always good. Always good to take a mental health break. Not just of that, but of everything. You know what I mean? Always good. Yeah, the chamoy and fruit roll up, girl, that's what I'm talking about. You make guacamole with tahini. Oh, okay. It's not that bad. It's actually okay. But this is always like not just SPTV, everything. Take a break from everything. I mean, I do it. Sometimes I don't even. The fact that I like feel like I work, like I'm working in the app. I'm like I have to take a step back and figure out, like take a break. I think I saw Chico in the chat. Shout out to Chico. Hey, Kathy P. I love pickles. Too, rabbit. What's it? Chamoy is like a. I don't know. How would you all describe chamoy? It's like a spicy sauce. It's like a I don't know. For me, it reminds me of sweet and sour, but it's not because it's like more spicy and then with like a hint of like sweet. That's kind of what I would call chamoy. You said sometimes you gotta snatch up a fool. Oh my god, Abraham, you ain't never lie. Sometimes you gotta mollywop some fucking people on this app. You really do. You really do. And that's what you have to do. And I mean, because you have to put your boundaries down. I've said it. I've said on my community app, what was it? Community tab the other day. I said, what I say? I put it up there. I quoted Kendrick Lamar. I quoted some other folks, and they're like, "Who are you talking about?" And I said, "Nobody. Like, don't lie about me, and in return, I won't tell the truth about you, right? Because that's what people do on this app a lot. They lie about you. You kill the lies with the truth. Hey, Grape Tea, that's what you got to do. That's why I don't go back and forth with people. Like, honestly, I don't. People talk about me all the time. I don't go back and forth. Because then, like I said, then I don't have to tell the truth about you. And sometimes the truth hurts. And sometimes I'm very unfiltered and I can give it to you without any chamoy, if that makes sense. Rabbit, my third live in a row, Popcorn Planet Nerd, and now I'm here. Well, thank you, Gordon, for being here. Shout out to you. All right. Yeah, Ronnie, that's how I would describe it. Like chamoy is like a tart, spicy with a hint of sweet. I love chamoy. I love chamoy in some of my fruit. But I'm also kind of like an like old style girl that just likes like watermelon with salt. I don't know, like I just kind of do that. Rem says, I have been moving, so it's been nice that I can't get wrapped up. Shout out to Rem. I know I hate moving though. I'm still listening, but I can't get too consumed. Rem, good job. Do you? It really can. Sometimes this app is a lot. It really is. And it's okay. Y'all know my thing is like I don't get wrapped up in shit. Unless I have to like talk about it, and then it's public, I'll do it. But yeah, if I get a turn, if I get my turn, then people get their feelings hurt. Just pop it in the show. Support Rabbit for fantastic mods. Aw, lovely peeps. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You said Nick Rekieta is a guy that defended himself from like 5 teenagers. Cool dude. If that's the guy, no, I don't think that's the guy. Somebody else that we're talking about. You go back to the tacos. Oh, the biricus. What is that? BBQs, birria, birbiquitos. Is that what you say, Ronnie? Let me know. Ticos or tacos? What you mean? You talk about like what is that? Let me know. Now I'm confused, Ronnie. Just the teas, please. Welcome. Just the tea, please. Welcome, welcome. Deb is in the house. All right, I think we're going to get started now that we got everybody here in the house. Welcome, everybody. Y'all are awesome. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here. So we're going to get into this. So you guys know we've been following the story of Nick Rekieta and the whole situation that's happening. There's a lot of YouTubers that are covering it. I am not the only one. I think that these are the documents, and I'm going to be very, very careful. Thank you, Bo. Bo just gifted a membership, y'all. If you got a membership from Bo, please put a heart in the chat. Thank you, Bo. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I've never heard of it. I've never heard of a biricos. How do you say that? Birquitos? What is that? Never heard of that. Ticos and birquito. What is that? Y'all gotta have to tell me. I mean, like I said, y'all made something up now. Like, what is that? I know what birria is. I know what all that is, but like, girl, I don't know what that is. So, thank you, Bo. If you guys got a membership, make sure you put a hat. Put a hat. Put a heart in the chat. Okay. So we've been following this story, right? Nick Rekieta is a huge law tuber here on YouTube. He's covered a lot of cases. pretty controversial guy here on YouTube, and then he's got like the whole legal stuff on his background and everything. Um he went through a situation, right, this year where he got charged. His kids were removed from his custody, and a lot of this has played out on social media because a lot of the footage that they're using to go after Nick Rekieta is on social media, right? So it's not like we're lying on this man and stuff like that. It's literally somebody who is a well-known public figure on social media that has a huge following and very well known, covered very many cases, one of those being of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. And so some of this is like, wow, he really got in trouble this way. His child tested positive, I believe, for cocaine. There was this a huge thing that happened, and we kind of broke that down. SPTV Keyboard Warrior just gifted some memberships, y'all. Please put a heart in the chat for SPTV Keyboard Warrior. Thank you, love. Shout out to you. Thank you for supporting my channel. So, thank you. Thank you. So it's a very sad situation overall. Nick was healthy when he was great. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were crushed. You said Jenny says I'm very familiar with Nick and have followed many YouTubers regarding this case. It's a sad case. Like, this isn't something to celebrate. This isn't something. Yes, the hair follicle was positive for cocaine. This isn't something that's like, I hate people. I hate this for this person because you know anybody that's in this situation. Yeah, and it's true. I'm sure he is, but I hate the fact that his kids are going through it because he's an ass, because he needs to get his shit together. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know, like, I don't stand for his ideology. I don't support I've seen some videos. I know he's not the nicest guy, yada yada yada. I get that. I'm not like a fan or anything like that, but I feel awful for his family. So Kiwi Farms, which is like another site, has been following a lot of what's been going on with the case. They've been posting a lot of documents. People are waiting for this body cam footage because Nick Rekieta came live, kind of giving a red herring of a statement about what really happened. Hey, B. Tim, what all this stuff is about. So, of course, a lot of us are wanting to know, like, is this really an innocent man? Was he set up? Was El Chapo in his backyard? Like, that type of situation. We know that that's not the case. Now, these documents right here are not redacted, okay? But I feel okay showing them because it's horrible print that you guys can't really see, and I even have to squint to read. So these are the transcripts that we are going to be reading. Yeah, Bo says, look, he's a POS. He's been for years. His treatment of legal bites. I got you. And I like a lot of the people. Abraham's like, not El Chapo. Did you hear? Sorry, y'all, my ADHD is going somewhere else. Did you hear about El Chapo's son getting arrested? Speaking of El Chapo, my uncle, my cousin got arrested, y'all. They did. Anyways, yes. So he needs to take accountability for his BS and handle his business for his kids' sake. Thank you, Missy. That's really what this is about, And it is. It's very sad for his children. And it will continue to affect him for years on out. I worked in social services for 10 years. I feel like I have a different lens of what's going to happen here and what can happen. But I think, like you said, and like, addiction is the worst. They're in full on addiction, right? And my hope is that they get it together for their kids. Because at the end of the day, nothing matters but your kids. You know what I mean? Okay, let's get it together. So these are the transcripts that were released since I saw the Umbrella Guy read them. I saw a couple of other YouTubers read them. I'm just going to kind of review them. Y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'm not zooming in because, like I said, there is some identifying information, but the font is so blurry on the screen that there's no intentional doxing on my end. Okay, please note that. Okay. Sorry, I got a message. So the petitioner appeared through its attorneys, Kristen Pierce and Rachel Mulsbury of Candy, Ohio County Attorney's Office. Okay. The mother, Kayla Rekieta, appeared personally along with her attorney, John Mueller. Okay, and the address is there. The father, Nicholas Rekieta, appeared personally along with his attorney, Don Weber, and they list the address of those attorneys. Okay, page 2, the child C, we're going to call child C, appeared, and child C is the oldest child. So Christy Barbie is the guardian ad litem for, the child. All right, so they're there to represent the best interests of the child. Appeared personally. Also parent was, excuse me, also appeared, also present, can't even read this. Also present was Alicia Swoop, the social services worker for the county. All right, for social services. She's also there as well. And here we go. So the following proceedings where the court says we're going to go on the record this afternoon for the emergency protective care hearing. This is the matter of the welfare of the children of Kayla. How do you say your last name for me, or say your last name for me? Miss Rekieta. The court, Rekieta, thank you. So what the court responded, Rekieta, thank you. And Nicholas Rekieta, I apologize. Court filed, they say the case number. Mr. Rekieta appeared. He is represented by his attorney, Don. Miss Rekieta appears. She is represented by attorney John. The guardian ad litem who's assigned to the file, the guardian ad litem who's assigned to this file is Christy Barbie or Barber. She appears. Also in the court is Alicia Swoop or Sweep. Why did I say Swoop? I'm thinking about that YouTuber. This is Alicia Sweep. She is a social caseworker for human services, and which is the petitioning agency. With the county attorney's office is Kristen Pierce and Rachel Molesbury. Each are an assistant county Ohio county attorney. The record should reflect that the Rekieta's oldest child, child C, you are child C, and child C nods. All right. In addition, at least as I understand, in the court today are, all right, see, these are like not the best copies, but we're going to make them work. Are, is it matters of the children, both maternal grandparents. So both maternal grandparents and paternal grandparents were present at the court hearing for this court hearing. Okay. Don't start. All right, y'all fighting in the chat. Shout out to you guys. You said, yeah, so they have an older child 16, they're present. They have both of the parents, the grandparents there, right? Maternal and paternal. So they're there present as well, just so everybody's aware of who's there. Child C is one of 5 children, but the only one present in the courtroom. As I mentioned, the matter is set for an emergency protective care hearing. It's my understanding that the children were placed in emergency protective care following the execution of a search warrant and the arrest leading to an order and then leading to today's hearing. It's my understanding that we will use this as a preliminary springboard, if we will, for the next hearing, which will be combined and admin deny an emergency protective care hearing. And I say that because there is an advisory to provide all of the children who are age 10 or older, and child C has 2 other siblings who are at least ages 10 and are eligible for McKenna advisory, which does a couple of things. And I think if I remember correctly, when I looked this up, McKenna advisory is that it permits them to have an attorney, their own attorney, which I like. Why? That makes sense. Let me look this up real quick. McKenna advisory, for those that are in Minnesota, is the law that now states that when a child is 10 years old and is removed from the home, placed in foster care, the social workers shall inform the child. Hold up. Yeah, so it was enacted in 2016, and it's basically a law that allows each child to have their own attorney. That's my understanding. Yeah, and also to avoid this conflict of interest as well. Okay. You said the nanny can't be trusted. I heard some stuff too. See, I heard. Yes. So they're going to have a GAL, which is a guardian ad litem, everybody that because of their age, which makes sense in my opinion, that they all have their own attorneys. But let me just say this. The more people involved, the crazier a case gets. I'm saying, speaking from personal experience, the more people get involved, because this is not just the child. The child was 9 years old. This is not just like one attorney, two attorneys, or three. No, these are a bunch of attorneys. Then you're gonna have, each child is probably gonna have like a therapist or a counselor. Like, that's that, right? They're each gonna have representatives. It's just gonna get crazier the more and more crazier it gets. You know what, Team Maker, you're right. Like, shout out to Team Maker. Like, Nick went from covering cases to being a court case. I honestly think, though, oh man, like I said, I don't wish this shit on anybody, and I hope that, like, this isn't an intervention for him, but I don't know if it will be, because, like, even how he's acted as of recent, maybe it's like an ego thing. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure. Okay, so one, it gives them the rights to have an attorney appointed to them for them, and two, the rights to go to court and be present at the hearings. So the court will delay that until all three eligible children are present. Okay, so basically, they're just saying that they're going to apply that law, the McKenna advisory, for each child. The court continues and it says, I wasn't certain from the petition which I read, so let me ask the parents. Are any of the 5 children eligible for membership in the Native American tribe? Okay, and that's like standard questioning because of, oh, wrong page, because of ICWA laws. So, of course, the Indian Child Welfare Act. So, every court, they're supposed to ask you, like, do you have any, like, Native American background or anything like that? Because that in itself, when there's a dependency and neglect case, that's a whole different case in itself. That is a whole different, yeah, hit the like button. That, like, you're going to have other people involved there when there is ICWA. Other organizations and agencies, tribes need to be invited. Courts need to kind of abide by those rules as well. So it's a hot mess. It's a hot mess. Yeah, you don't mess with ICWA laws. There's been lawsuits over that. So yeah, thank you, Cass, for putting that out there. Oh my God, Bo. So, not to mention the revenge prom that was live streamed by Aaron, the ex-husband. That guy's a mess too, isn't he? This is why I'm saying, when somebody asks me in the chat, are you going to talk about him? Did you hear about it? I'm like, listen, I don't know about these people. Like, I feel fine just talking about the case without being without talking to them. Somebody's in the chat, you should invite Nick. No, because I don't think that he would be able to, like, answer my questions, if that makes sense. And it wouldn't go very well for his case as well, if that makes sense. You know, like, I actually see there being a conflict with my asking questions. Let's get it together. Yes, Ronnie. I kind of like it like that because I can read them, but y'all can't. But I will tell you where you can find them if you're interested in reading them, because they're like all over Twitter. Y'all can go over there and check them out. Okay. Let's continue reading. So the judge asked if they had, like, any Indian, what is it, Native American tribe here in the matter of child welfare. And in Minnesota or any other state or territory. So Nick says, no, Your Honor, and the court says, any objection then to the court findings that the Indian Child Welfare Act is not applicable to the proceedings. And then Miss Weber says, no, no objection. Mr. Mueller says, no objection. Miss Moulsry says, no objection. Then the court says, all right, the court will make that finding. So they need to, again, establish that in any and every dependency and neglect case by law, okay, because they can get in trouble. Okay, the court continues. I've reviewed the petition. There is a prima facie showing, and the petition does establish that a juvenile protection matter exists, that all 5 children are subject to that petition. It further alleges that the children's health, safety, or welfare may be immediately endangered should they return home at this time, and that care, custody, and control should be temporarily placed with the Candido County Health and Human Services. Okay, so the judge is saying It further alleges, they're reviewing the petition, it further alleges that the children's health, safety, or welfare should be immediately, excuse me, the damn document. Hold up, let me go back. It further alleges that the children's health, safety, or welfare would be immediately endangered should they return home at this time, and that care, custody, and control should be temporarily placed with the county. Okay. With that, both parents are asking that the matter get continued to up to 10 days. Mr. Mueller says, correct, Your Honor. This word, hold up. The see, there's another word missing. I think they meant to say the cases combined, and as you note, with the admit deny at 9:45 on June 6th, the court says, all right, and the purpose of, yeah, these documents, I mean, I know that they're like copying them over, but they're like very hard to read sometimes, y'all. Let me make sure. Hold up. See, now I lost my space. Okay, so then the court says, all right, in addition, at least as I understand it, in the courtroom today are the grandparents. So that's page 3. Page 4 says maternal grandparents. All right, that's page 4. Page 5 says that, okay, all right. And okay, so this is half of the page. See, this is like the way they organize this is crazy. The court says, all right, and the purpose is, now we're on page 6. And the purpose, here we go. And the purpose continuing then would be to protect the rights of the parents at this time. Mr. Mueller says, correct. The court says, does the agency object to continuing this out? Ms. Pierce says, as long as children remain in protective care, Your Honor, the county has no objection. So the county is saying, listen, as long as they're in our custody, we have no objection, right? As long as they're in our protective care, we have no objection. Okay. The court says, Ms. Barber says, no objection as long as the children remain in care. Thank you. And that's the guardian ad litem saying, like, we're not objecting over here as long as they're in care. The court says, all right, so you answered my questions. Next, I think it is in the children's best interest to remain in protective care at this time. Miss Barbie says, yes, or Barber says, yes, Your Honor. The court says, all right, Miss Weber, any objection to the court granting a continuance with the notion that they will remain in out-of-home placement pending the hearing? Oh, wow. So they're still in out-of-home placement, okay? Miss Weber says, no objection. We just are asking, we've got kids that are older. Okay, Miss Weber says this, no objection. We are just asking, we've got kids that are older and they should be having some access to their parents. If not in person, certainly in Zoom and phone calls would be appropriate. The court then responds, it's my understanding the children, okay, and then I think that's that last page there. The children are, well, before I go there, Miss Mueller, is there an objection? Mr. Mueller, is there an objection? Mr. Mueller says no. The court says, all right, so it's my understanding the children are with maternal grandparents. Okay. Can the maternal grandparents supervise contact for the children? Is there an objection to that? Ms. Pierce says, yes, Your Honor. The court says, so the attorney is saying, yes, sir, there's an objection for there to be unsupervised or supervised contact. The court says, what is the agency proposing as far as a supervised visitation? Ms. Pierce says, who's working for the agency, says, Your Honor, we're requesting that there be supervised visitations at Harmony Visitation Center. And until that gets set up, that there be supervised in-person visits at that agency. I don't have an objection to phone calls or Zoom. That would be supervised by a foster parent or maternal grandparents. So that, I mean, yes, Pixie, it's true. Yeah, I mean, I would hope that they would object to that too, but I don't know. I don't know, man. Yeah, they're in protective care, but like, I mean, they're, the older kids, I think when it comes to this, so, okay, the oldest child, why wouldn't the oldest child be able to have contact with the parent, even if it's supervised? But they're saying, well, like, is there concern about like unsupervised contact? What does that look like? You said unsupervised. I mean, I'm because I'm trying to figure out, like, are we worried that older child's going to influence the other child? Like, what are we worried about at this point when it comes to contact? You said they will have drug screen before they see the kids. That's why they're setting it up like that, maybe. Potentially, but also, like, I feel like the criminal case is also kind of mirroring what's going on over here. If they're not compliant with the criminal case, or if they're not compliant with this case, like, you just have to kind of wonder. You said, just sad. I hate to hear a judge be suggestive to any attorney. That happens a lot in dependency and neglect cases, like more than I would like. Does that make sense? I feel like, let me tell you, it's a hard job because, like, there would be a lot of attorneys that you're just like, if an issue is about self-protecting, I'm not in support of like any child being subjected or being around drugs. But if a child is 16 years old, there's something in the county that talks about, specifically about training, that talks about the fact that a child can also self-protect, right? So if a parent is drinking and driving and they happen to pick up the child, is the child able, are they in a dangerous situation if they get in the car? Yes, they are, right? But say that the parent goes and picks up the child and they're 16, and the school notices like the parent is drunk, which happens a lot, believe it or not. The child might say, you know what? I'm not getting in that car. The parent is drunk, parent leaves driving drunk. I'm sure they'll get in trouble, but the child is showing that they're able to protect themselves. They were able to see that the parent was drunk. So there are like certain things that agencies look for, like the ability to self protect in such situations when it comes to a child that's especially older, like 16 or 17, in order to determine whether the agency is going to intervene. But at the same time, like, everything's case by case. Now that you have all these people involved, I'm pretty sure that an attorney is going to make an argument, especially at Garden at Lightham, is going to make an argument that says, contact needs to be supervised. Contact needs to be this. Contact needs to be that. Or like, they're going to want to dictate this. But that does happen. Excuse me. Okay. So the court says, all right, what is the agency proposing as far as supervised visitation? Ms. Pierce says, Your Honor, we're requesting that there be supervised visitation at the visitation center until that can get set up, that there be supervised in-person visits at the agency. I don't have an objection to phone calls or Zoom. That could be supervised by a foster parents. And that's such a weird situation to put like foster parents in to supervise contact. Like, I hate that for this foster parent, and I hate that like attorneys tend to overstep their bounds with this. Unless the foster parent is getting like an additional, I don't know, like training to support this. But this does happen where foster parents are having to supervise, and it's not a good situation to put them in there because you got your child there. And so then if they have a bad phone call, who are they going to take it out on? The foster parent? What's going to happen? It's going to happen to the foster. I've seen this time and time again. Like, they always do this shit, and it's always the attorney that over. Shout out to my attorneys, but y'all always overstep in this, okay? And I used to have to fight people for this all the time. I'd be like, listen, no, because you put people in very weird predicaments, if you know what I mean. Okay, so okay. She says, I don't have an objection to phone calls or Zoom that would be supervised by the foster parents or grandparents. Okay. The court says, all right, is the agency at this point able to share with the court why maternal grandparents cannot supervise visitation? Miss Pierce says, I'm sorry, the paternal? The court says, the maternal. Your Honor, we just have some concerns that both set. Ooh, Your Honor, we just have some concerns that both sets of grandparents were in the home. All right, let me not lose this page. I believe I'm in. Okay, I think I know which page. Right here. There's so many pages. Were in the home the week before the removal, and that while there, some concerns that there until we have drug testing and can verify sobriety. There's a typo. So some concerns that were there, I think that's what they meant to say, until we can have drug testing and can verify sobriety, that we would want someone that is more is it certified in identifying those symptoms to be supervising those visits. So yeah, definitely need some Z's. Like the grandparents were well aware of what's going on. I mean, like, why would you even put the grandparents to supervise these visits as well? Because if they weren't even proactive in trying to like step in and help the kids, and you're also, yeah, like thank you, Pasa. You just said it in one short little sentence. The grandparents didn't do anything. So why would they be okay supervising the visits? And then it goes back to like, how are they even like, are they okay supervising the grandparents? That's what everybody was saying too. Hmm? They saw the situation, right? It's hard, but they saw the situation. You know what I mean? So yeah, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. Okay, let's go. We got a lot to review. Let's see. There's more. So the court says, so in essence, twofold. One, vetting, and two, some educational protocols. Is that fair? Ms. Pierce says, that's fair. The court says, okay. Ms. Barber, the guardian ad litem's position, Ms. Barber says, I would recommend that the parties utilize the visitation center or the agency at this time for supervised visits until I've had time to begin my investigation and an interview the children and meet with all of the parties. Lady, you haven't begun your investigation? So I why should anybody have to wait? Like that shit gets me anyways. But she says, I feel like they need to verify until I've completed my investigation. When are you going to complete your investigation? This case has been open through the dependency and neglect for a couple months now. But is the judge going to say anything about that? No. The judge is going to say it is fair that the agency, with the guardian ad litem's approval or opinion as to the children's best interests, could make a trajectory to less restrictive visitations than the visitation center without a court order. Ms. Barber says, yes, that's true. And I would ask that, Your Honor. Okay, the court says, okay, so I would qualify visitation center, at least in your eyes, to start with there. All right, and let me see. Hold up. To start with there and move it forward as the agency and you know more. Ms. Barber says, yes, because as the court indicated, we do have older children here. I believe the youngest is 6, upwards to teenagers. And so we could put forth a trajectory in consultation as we get a few of those visitations underway. I would ask, certainly, though, that releases be signed for the agency so that way they can put forth the efforts to put that into place. Now, y'all remember Rekieta had signed the releases and then went back and said, nope, I'm taking those signatures back. That's what he said. It's not that he wouldn't take it. I think he did take it. I think he just, you know how like you can void what you sign? So they went back and basically said, don't share. Like they declined to have their results shared with anybody. The agency, the human service agency, is paying for those tests. That's how they were able to get the child's tests. But they don't want to share the results with anybody. So how do you start in treatment without like knowing what your treatment should be, especially like that there's drug exposure, you know? But I mean, it would be good to know kind of where Rekieta's at, what that looks like. And yeah. Okay. Excuse me. So I would ask certainly though that the releases be signed so that the agency, okay, can put forth their efforts. Okay. I know the visitation center requires a signed release. The court says, Mr. Mueller, anything in addition? Mr. Mueller says, who is, the attorney for Kayla Rekieta, says, I would ask that the releases, they need to be signed by the parent and get prepared. And they can go through them and sign them before they leave the building. And that the vetting of the grandparents do it as quickly as possible. That's all I've got. Yeah, the vetting of the grandparents should have been done, but I think what the agency is worried about is the ability to protect, because if you were protective while these kids were being exposed, while all this was going down, are you how can they know that you're going to be protective now? You know? Like, how can they trust that you're going to be protective? So this is that double-edged sword. The court says, Ms. Weber responds, Your Honor, Mr. Rekieta indicated that the current foster care providers are licensed. They've been licensed for 30 years. Hold up. See, this is a transcript, so there might be a lot of typos. Miss Weber, Your Honor, Mr. Rekieta indicated that the current foster care providers are licensed. They've been licensed for 30 years. Okay. Mr. Rekieta responds. So Nick Rekieta is about to speak here. He says, I don't believe they're currently licensed, but they have been licensed foster care providers for quite some time, over 30 years, I believe. They have plenty of experiences dealing with, okay. So they're not licensed now, but they've been licensed before. That's what Nick Rekieta is saying in his argument there. All right, hold up. Let's go to the next page. Be cool if it just let me click it this way. See, is it this one? It's so easy to lose your space. So, all right. So dealing with facilitating visitation of children of not only relatives, but of foreign placements. Also, I would like to indicate that the petition drafted by the county itself indicates that the children were in no knowledge of any drugs being in the home and are not aware of any use, and any testing of the children that would result in drug use according to the children would be because of the secondary exposure from some other source. Huh? So Nick Rekieta gets up and says to the court, addresses the court and says, listen, hold up. Let me see if I understand this. He says, also, I would like to indicate that the petition drafted by the county itself indicates that the children were in no knowledge of any drugs being used in the home and are not aware of any drug use, and any testing of the children that would result in drug use according to the children would be because of secondary exposure from some other source. What fucking other source but your home? Are you saying that they got the testing somewhere else? That's what I heard. Deity is side eye. Shout out to everybody that's like joining me, y'all. All right. Just anything's possible, I guess. I don't know. I understand the county's position is to try to attempt to facilitate the safest visitation for the children, but there's no indication other than that simply a statute that these children have ever been in danger of exposure of any substances, or that their parents have been under the influence of any substances around them or while providing care. Bitch, you didn't do the test. So how would they be able to test upon, like, of course there's not going to be any type of like testing. He's saying there's no indication that there was any testing. Of course there wouldn't be, because you're not testing. But your child tested, and your child tested positive for cocaine, and they're 9 years old. And then there's the testing of all the other stuff that they collected. Thank you. I don't know. What D Thompson? I don't know. But I'm like, are you kidding me? And they've been homeschooled. I mean, we're not saying, I don't think that the court is saying, like, listen, you injected your child. That's not what they're saying. Mm. But listen, he's an attorney. He's gonna do what he's gonna do, right? That's what the attorneys do. So this is Nick Rekieta speaking to the court directly, okay? So, Your Honor, I would just like that at the very minimum, we go up ahead and go with our initial suggestion that the maternal grandparents who are currently providing care be offered the visits or be allowed to facilitate supervision and visitation. We have not done anything to not cooperate with the county other than to assert our rights to request counsel before answering any questions and before submitting to any testing. It's something that we had not had any. Lord have mercy. Okay. Oh, let me see. Am I gonna have to go crazy finding all these pages? Hold up. See, this is where. Okay, wait. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. Okay, that's where am I at? That's that. Is it this page? I think it's this page. Nope, this page. Okay. So he left off and he said that we had not had any opportunity to be given the Memorial Day weekend. The first time we spoke to county workers was at our home today at around 1 p.m. Despite multiple attempts over the weekend and today starting at is it 8 a.m. to contact the county workers, I was unable to until they arrived at our house. When they arrived at our house, they found a house that was much cleaner than what was initially found. So the house is now clean. So Nick, you are in over your like these are county workers. Like I yeah. He says so the house is much cleaner than it was initially found. We've been making immediate efforts now that the school year is finished to go ahead and take care of the clutter in the home. We're not even requesting that the children be placed in our home during this continuance, but merely that visitation be supervised by people who are obviously qualified to provide that supervision and are sitting in the room right over there and have done so for 3 decades in this county. The court says, in this county, Mr. Rekieta says, in this county, Your Honor. Miss Sweep, oh, what's the agency's timetable to get through this vetting process or provide education to supervisors as to use recognition? Miss Sweep, the caseworker is going to talk now. Okay, she says, I would say we would look to be doing a safety meeting within the depending on. Hold up, now I got to go to the next page. Y'all. Okay, page 12. Depending on cooperation of the parents. Okay, I'm going to stop right here. She's saying, listen, we want to do a meeting, but it totally depends on cooperation of the parents. Okay? You calling them and suddenly cleaning up your house because you have court is not cooperation of the parents. Does that make sense? Like you can't, like, let me tell you something, all right? I know what this looks like, okay? I have seen people like I love the people that would call and say like and from the minute that their child was removed because that's how you know it's real to them, right? From the minute. And they're going to figure it out and they're going to clean up. They're going to clean house online. They're going to do what they got to do to figure this out. Okay? This right here doesn't count. Like you can't just say, "Oh, I've been calling you since 8 a.m. and on the weekend, which the department is closed on the weekend." The caseworkers do have a life outside of this, right? That's what they do, right? They go home and they got their own families to deal with, right? They're going to do that. And then come the weekend, come court, sure, you've been calling her since 8. You come to the house is suddenly clean. It doesn't look like what it looked like back when, all the stuff that was going down cluttered and all the drug paraphernalia. Yeah, that's going to happen. But you don't expect just change like that. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't. Okay. Renee says, we ordered a drug test on live. Could be easy to do. I'm pretty sure he knows that. But let's keep reading because I got to get through this. So within the next week. So she says, the caseworker saying you need cooperation from the parents within the next week. The court says, okay, that's longer than I anticipated. Why can't it be done this week? Ms. Sweep says it is a very active investigation that is early in its stages in regards to the agency learning who's had knowledge of drug use in the home. Who's had knowledge of drug use in the home? Has it been the grandparents? Like, y'all knew something was. I'm just having a hard time believing that the grandparents didn't know what the hell was going on. Okay. I'm just going to say that. But you know what? That's just my opinion. Okay. Who's been notified of use of drugs in the home and the education behind how to look for the use and being under the influence? The court says, all right, what's our date from the admin deny? June 6th? Mr. Mueller says, yeah, a week from Thursday. The court says the court will grant the parents' request for continuance given that there is a prima facie showing from the petition and that it would protect the rights of both parents to continue the matter. It provides the parties additional time for safety meetings, safety planning. The court takes notice that the holiday weekend puts this as a standstill since the arrests on Thursday. The court will also find that the agency was unable and is demonstrated by the petition that given the particular circumstances of the children's removal from the home, there's no services or efforts, meaning that as soon as the kids get removed from the home, as soon as there's a judge's order, as soon as the department has custody of these kids, the clock starts ticking, you guys. The clock starts ticking and age matters, right? And so they're going to have to put reasonable efforts to reunite this family, to get Nick Rekieta into treatment, Kayla, and everybody else, okay? Just so everybody's aware. This is why I say Nick Rekieta is full of himself if he thinks that this is something that he's just going to be able to sweep in there. And when you're dealing with CPS and a dependency and neglect case level, it's a different ball game. It really is. And there's so many moving parts to this, right? So I'm kind of wondering how this is going to play out. But yeah. So anyways, okay. Let's keep going. And that was page 12. Is there a page 13 here? Okay, page 12. Oh, this is kind of hard to keep track the way it reads. But all right. So available, which would have allowed the children to stay in the home at the time. In particular, both of the parents were arrested, and that out-of-home placement or emergency out-of-home placement was necessary. Currently, the proposed out-of-home placement with the children's maternal grandparents is the least restrictive environment in most home-like and certainly meets the cultural needs of the children. So, are some of the children with with maternal grandparents and some children in foster care? Are some of them separated? What is it like? I'm getting this impression that some kids are in the home and some kids are not. There might be like the young ones that are with maternal while the other ones are in foster care. That's what I'm getting, but I could be wrong based on this paragraph right here. I would push this matter a bit harder because I take personal view that the visitation center or visits at the agency is artificial at best and not appropriate for the older children. The older kids don't need to always have their visits supervised. Okay. It is. It's the truth. Yes, they might have been exposed. They might have seen a lot, but they don't always need everything supervised. That does happen. Again, it goes, is there a safety component to this? If that makes sense. And people can argue that back and forth, but that's just, I see what the judge is doing here. The judge says, if you have a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old, that works pretty well with the toy. Older children, it does not. Okay. For now, I will utilize as supervised visitation, but as at the agency come up with the safety plan as soon as possible and certainly prior to June 6th. Okay, so that we're in August 1st. Keep that in mind. As to the alternatives for supervised parenting with the family members, preferably, or if not, someone who the family can agree upon, and some safety planning. And we'll continue this on June 6th at 9:45 before the judge. At this point, the children will have an attorney available for them, and the judge will provide the McKenna advisory. Is there anything else for the record today? And this is page 13. We're going to go to page 14. Oh shit. Did I just, yeah. I just went to a different page. Anything else? Anything I've probably forgot? Mr. Mueller says there's one other item from mother and father's perspective, Your Honor. Likely just a typo, but the youngest child, we have her date of birth incorrect. Okay, they're gonna fix that. I don't want to say her date of birth. And the spelling is and who is and the spelling, so they're figuring that out. Rekieta jumps in and says, "This is how you spell my child's name." Okay. Mr. Mueller, I don't think that requires any amending of the petition. So they're saying, well, do they need to amend the petition because there's a misspelling? The court says there's no amending. We just correct it right there on the record. All right. Well, I might have to remind if I use her date of birth wrong. All right. Just remind the court that if she uses her date of birth wrong. All right. That's page 14. Let's go to page 15. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. Oh, this is what the court says. One more thing I want to say on the record. I had given and is it I can't even see that word. Hold up, y'all. Let me make sure I don't want to say it wrong too. Is it ammunition? 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 Admonition. That's the word. I had given admonition as to Zoom use at the arraignment on Friday. That was immediately ignored, and we were published immediately. The default in these cases will be in person since we've not done with the use of Zoom. Oh, okay. Okay. So interesting. So giving warning, you said not willing to wait 2 weeks. Never enough social workers and schedules are often already booked for cases. It's not like social workers are sitting at their desk doing nothing. Thank you. That's the other thing too, right? Like it's not like they're just sitting there doing nothing, right? Just keep that in mind. That's what I'm saying. It's like, come on, Nick Rekieta, they're not going to be available on the weekend. They're not. They also work. They have their own children. Okay. And then it says, Miss Weber says, it brings up the thought. If the judge is our judge next week, Judge H is our judge next week, is he going to be here or do we have to go to him? We're very concerned about some of the folks, given my client what he does for a living. There are people that I think are going to continue to try to disrupt these proceedings if the judge is by Zoom. The court says, yeah, it's a point well taken, and we're working through that. I can tell you that neither the court nor court administration had any idea what was coming at them on Friday, right up to the time of the hearing. Ms. Weber says, do you think that everyone kind of got a taste of that? There's some folks that just, and they're asking questions like, are they gatekeeping? Like, what are they doing? Okay. This is page 15. So I think they're like with the whole privacy stuff that's happening because some of the stuff is getting published and, Nick is not really liking that. Other people are not liking that. They're kind of trying to figure this out. Like, how are they going to do the future court hearings? Mr. Mueller says, well, we'll have to keep up with, we'll have to keep up, Mary, for that hearing on the 6th. I can't even read that. It's so fucking blurry. Miss Weaver says, yeah. And then Miss Pierce says, I guess my suggestion would be if the judge H is by Zoom, that no one else is allowed to be by Zoom. Mr. Mueller says, right. Miss Pierce says, because they would need special permission of the court. And so we would be here in person with him by Zoom if we can't be in person. The court says, that's my thought as well. If sometimes I'm scheduled in Meeker County and 20 minutes later or 15 minutes later, I'm scheduled in Swift County. So the judges can be via Zoom. Everyone else is ordered to be in the court just because of the scheduling. So that might be the same case for a different reason. Mr. Rekieta, then Nick gets up and says, Your Honor, in light of your, is it admonition? Is that how you say that, y'all? Some of these words. Admonition. That's how you say that. My bad. In light of your admonition and your statement and my arraignment and my recording or broadcasting may be in contempt of court if I have knowledge of someone in the state of Minnesota who would presumably be under the jurisdiction of the state who violated that order. What would be the proper course? Should I bring that by This is page 16. Okay, wait, page 16. Page 17. By motion in my criminal trial to you, should I refer that to Miss Pierce? What should I do in that case? I want to verify my information before I actually do make an accusation, but I have reason to believe that someone in this state who's actually associated with the prosecution's case was the one of the people who broadcasted that hearing illegally. And I would like to make sure that this is brought to the attention of the court and Your Honor specifically. The court says I won't be assigned to that criminal case. My involvement is probably done with that case, having the arraignment. Miss Pierce, is that information your agency or your office wants, or should that be provided to the Judge Fisher? Ms. Pierce says, Your Honor, we would not want that information directly. It would be potentially to bring us into a, is it ancillary action or make us a witness. We direct all information to you and can either provide it to the law enforcement or to the assigned judge on the case, which would be Judge Fisher. Mr. Rekieta says, Nick says, all right, if I verified my findings, I will raise it with Judge Fisher. Thank you, Your Honor. The court says, all right, thank you. Okay, this is page 17. Let's go to page 8. Okay, that's 17 still. 18 says end of hearing. And this is the court reporter's, signature and stuff like that. Oh my. So I don't know, man. Is that him bringing because that's what it sounded at the end. He's like, I don't want to make any accusations, and I want to make sure I bring those accusations to the right judge. Is that Mr. Aaron there? Because I know he's got people on going crazy right now too. I think Needsumsies, I think that's what the issue is he doesn't want anybody, commenting on them. So I'm kind of wondering what that looks like too. Oh my gosh. Y'all, let me know your thoughts in the comments. You said how the snake snitching on Aaron. I don't know. I guess that wife swap stuff didn't really quite work, did it? Definitely wouldn't want this be. I would not, Emily, I would not want to be the caseworker on this case. I'm just saying. Y'all see all that flavor on the bottom? It's all that chocolate on the bottom. You said Nick is so focused. Yeah, Destiny. Nick is so focused on haters versus getting his kids back. It's a sad situation, no matter how you see it. You know what I mean? Just even reading that was just too much, It's too much. It's too much. Lisa, I didn't even see this. Thank you for the $2, Lisa. Lisa says, hi, I'm usually a lurker. Thank you, Lisa. Sorry, I was so focused on these documents, but thank you, Lisa, for your super sticker. Shouldn't be by Zoom, that's for sure. I mean, Pixie, they're getting a hold of a lot of information too, Somebody in that state, somebody's there getting it, somebody's there. But anyways, y'all, thank you for watching the replay. I just wanted to talk about it. Y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. You said CA has total confidentiality and any violation can cause legal issues. None of this would be available, right, Cass? Every state is different. I'm surprised they're able to get a hold of like dependency and neglect cases, hearings, and stuff like that, because there's children involved. So you would think that this would be sealed. You can ask the court to seal some of the stuff, but I don't know. I'm not an attorney, so I don't know. Really sad and dangerous. Why didn't wife leave the kids? I don't know, girl. It's a lot. No, thank you. All right, guys. I got to go because I got to go tend to my baby bunny. Y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you're watching the replay, I got to get a little thumbnail going for this. I was a little too lazy to do it because I'm tired. But I will see you guys on the next one. Y'all hit the like button, please, and thank you. And thank you again for supporting my channel. Bye, guys.